Dear Cleveland, pick Deshaun Watson or else. Welcome to NBA News and Screws. I'm Dem.
I'm Mike, and we welcome you guys to our first episode of NBA News and Screws, where we will, just like NFL News and Screws, this time we'll be doing basketball news, playoffs. The playoffs have obviously started. We're in the first round. The NBA draft is coming up on June 22nd, and we'll be talking all NBA news. And of course, as always, if you guys want to leave a comment, leave it down below in the comment section. And we will get started on our first episode of NBA News and Screws. So, let's get started with our first bit of big news, and then we'll move into small news. Here we go. And also, this will be every Friday, too. Him and I will be getting going on NBA News and Screws. So, here we go. Magic interested in David Griffin for GM job. The Orlando Magic have interest in hiring David Griffin as their general manager. Because Griffin is without a contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 17-18 season, the Magic may wait to finalize their search until after the playoffs. Talks between Griffin and the Cavaliers on an extension have stalled for months. Dan Gilbert has been reluctant to pay Griffin the going rate for a championship-level executive. The Magic are searching for a replacement for Rob Hennigan, with Matt Lloyd filling the role on an interim basis. Lloyd is so well respected among his peers that some have been reluctant to offer recommendations to the Magic because they hope he gets the job. Alex Martins has been engaged with identifying and vetting candidates despite using Jet Hughes of the Korn Ferry search firm.
This is big news. The Magic have been trying to find something to replace since Dwight Howard left. Dan Gilbert's been trying to not pay people since LeBron left. And the Magic suck anyway.
And they need shooters. Whoever the new GM is, and especially Frank Vogel, emphasize shooting. Because that's what the NBA has come to now. It's a completely three-point shooting league. And all due respect to Terrence Ross and Evan Fournier, this team has no shooting whatsoever. So you really need to, that's what you need to focus on in free agency and in the draft. If they can get a guy like Malik Monk in the draft, who is going to be a stud in the NBA, that's what you need to do. And hopefully the new GM that they pick can actually have an idea of what he's doing. Rob Hennigan, I'm sorry, but you didn't know. So.
Yeah, shooting. What is it, the 70s?
Yeah, well.
What's next?
Rajon Rondo out indefinitely with thumb fracture. He injured his right hand in Game 2 at Boston on Tuesday night. He underwent a subsequent exam and x-rays that confirmed the thumb fracture. Surgery is not required for this injury, but he is out indefinitely. Rondo has averaged 11.5 points, 10 assists, and 8.5 rebounds over the first 2 games of the playoffs.
Wait, Rondo's out of the league?
He's out of the league? I thought he was out of the league a couple years ago.
I thought Rajon
Boston,
Rondo...
Dallas, Sacramento, Chicago. Where's he going to go next? China?
No, to a retirement home in Florida.
Yeah. Rondo's another one needs to learn how to shoot.
Rondo's no one who's still how to retire.
No one on that team could shoot. And it's amazing Fred Hoiberg's still there. That's just me, though. Wizards' home playoff uniforms can no longer be bought by fans.
That sucks.
They announced in March that they will wear their white stars and stripes uniforms for all home playoff games this season. And the Wizards' alternate home jersey became popular after they wore them for 6 military-themed home games. The jerseys, however, are no longer available for fans to purchase. The Wizards sold out their entire supply before the start of the postseason, and no additional orders will be made since the NBA is switching from Adidas to Nike.
Oh, yeah. I
Did
remember that
Remember that now? Yeah, see?
I hope they do a complete rebrand. This looks so good. But yeah, the Wizards. The Wizards haven't gone through this much change since they picked up Michael Jordan, and we're still terrible. It's like Washington was like, oh, snap. We're getting Jordan for a whole year. We're getting with a championship. They won 42 games. They still didn't make the playoffs.
Just 42 games. I mean, 42 games is good, but I'm sorry, when you win that many games,
I'm sorry.
You have to get to the playoffs.
Let me reiterate.
Even if you lose in the first round, just to say, well, we made the playoffs.
Let me reiterate. 42 games is good for the Eastern Conference.
It really is amazing how bad the Eastern Conference is compared to the West. Cleveland, Toronto, Boston.
This is coming
pretty much it.
This is coming from East Coast kids.
Come on,
the Eastern Conference sucks.
Come on, Knicks. Unfortunate, long-suffering Knick fan.
Unfortunately, we suck.
Not going to get better until Phil leaves. I mean, that's pretty much.
We were bad when Phil wasn't here. We were bad when Phil was still in LA.
We're just
the only time we were good when Phil was
cursed.
The only time we were good when Phil was anywhere near us when Phil was coaching the Bulls, and we still lost to the Bulls. The one time we beat the Bulls was like a magic number year. Oh wait, no, it wasn't magic. Jordan was playing baseball.
This is a long-suffering curse, and I don't see it ending anytime soon, unfortunately.
Nah, it'll be fine. We got the unicorn. What's next?
Russell Westbrook fined $15,000 for inappropriate language after Game 2.
Russell Westbrook was fined $15,000 for following Johnny Manziel's footsteps.
There you go. He had 51 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds in the game, but used strong words when asked about his stat total. I don't give a fuck about the line. We lost. Russell Westbrook, to me, must win the MVP. With all due respect to James Harden, this guy had an absolutely historic season without Kevin Durant. Loved running the show by himself. If this guy does not win MVP, I'm sorry. That is the worst decision by the NBA ever.
Welcome to the NBA.
Ever.
Don't go to the NBA. Everything is rigged. They let Kevin Durant leave.
Everything is rigged in the NBA. That's what separates us so much from the other sports.
We vetoed Chris Paul's trade. They vetoed Chris Paul's trade. Kevin Durant got to leave. We ended up with Melo for 6 years.
And Adam Silver definitely should have prevented that from happening. Yeah, I think that goes without saying.
Russell Westbrook's been running the show since he was at UCLA when what's-his-face was there.
Russell Westbrook was the 4th overall pick?
That's right.
Kevin Love Curry, was there. 7th overall pick. How did these players not go number 1? How?
I don't know.
How did Durant go number 2?
I don't know. That's Portland.
Hey, Greg Oden was.
Ask Ohio State.
Greg Oden was a massive start at the Ohio State.
Ohio State's terrible.
Can you imagine Durant with the Blazers and Oden when they were known as the Sonics?
There are actually several scenarios.
Imagine Kevin Durant, Brandon Roy, and yeah, that would have been an amazing tandem, the two of them. In that infinite scoring.
What's next?
Infinite scoring in Portland. The Kings hired Luke Bourne as VP of Analytics and Strategy. The Sacramento Kings hired him as VP of Analytics and Strategy. Bourne, 31, will replace Roland Beach, who left the Kings front office this offseason. Why
are we talking about the Kings?
Does he even pay?
Why are we talking about the Kings?
Does he even pay? Vlade Divac doesn't know what he's doing.
Why are we talking about the Kings? Let's move on.
Just why?
Yes. Why?
Why?
This is a mess.
So David Fizdale, Kawhi Leonard bleeds antifreeze. He spoke glowingly about Kawhi Leonard on Thursday. First-class individual, tireless work from everything I hear about him. He was standing next to me the other night, and he wasn't breathing. I'm going to check the rule book and find out if robots are allowed to play in the NBA. I think he bleeds antifreeze. He is special, man.
I mean, when you come out of the draft, where 2 of the greatest players in that draft came out of the Mountain West Conference, I can't argue with that. I'm talking about you, Jimmer. I still love you.
Love you too, Jimmer, but
New York still loves you.
Averaged almost 40 points in China. Imagine if he did that in the pros here in the NBA.
Did it at BYU.
Just imagine. He played for my Knicks for a little bit, but
it is China.
Stayed there a little longer.
It is China, where the American stars are the stars.
Marbury, because he knows. David Stern, NBA in great position for all parties.
What does that mean?
He's bullish on the future of the NBA 3 years after he retired as commissioner. In addition to the talent, I'm in awe of the shooting skills of Steph Curry, of Klay Thompson, of a Russell Westbrook, and a James Harden, etc. But I'm also in awe of the potential the league has both digitally and globally. So the game is strong, the attendance is at record, the future is extraordinary internationally, and the league is a leader under Adam Silver in the digital sphere. So it's really a wonderful opportunity for the owners, for the players, and for my former colleagues at the team and league level. And the NBA's annual revenues have hit $5 billion with a B.
Does anyone else remember that the NBA is only the second most popular sport in the U.S.?
Behind the
NFL?
Yep.
Literally.
Yep. So it's right there.
It's just a little bit over highlight. We all love highlight.
Of course. We all do, though. But Adam Silver's doing a great job. And,
no, he's not.
And keep it... Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Keep it up.
We're almost...
Keep it up.
You know how close we were to getting sponsors on jerseys? They've already ruined the WNBA for me. Don't do it. Don't do it to me,
That's going to happen next year, I think.
Don't do it to me, Adam Silver. Don't do it to me.
Listen to my friend's prayers, please.
Don't do it.
Please.
What's next?
So this is previous news we talked about with Russell Westbrook claims not even to care about his 51-10-13 loss after Game 2.
I mean, hey, when you want to win,
Westbrook,
who cares
come
about
on. I mean, you have to agree with him there. The regular season and the playoffs cannot be more different. Here's some kind of disturbing news. Jeff Withey's, remember him, ex-fiance files police report alleging domestic violence.
Oh, look, it's Johnny Manziel in disguise.
Right? This is the new Johnny Manziel. Has been accused of domestic violence according to a police report filed by his former fiancée, Kennedy Summers. Law enforcement sources confirmed the report was filed in Manhattan Beach on Tuesday and references multiple alleged incidents, most notably one in 2016. Withey got engaged last year before breaking up in October, and the Utah Jazz are playing the LA Clippers in the first round of the playoffs.
What does that have to do with this?
We don't want to talk about the new Johnny Manziel. I'm sorry.
And he played
for...
He went to Kansas. Because Manhattan's in Kansas.
Yeah, let's not talk... Yeah, well, that's true.
Small news time.
So now it's time for the small news section of NBA News and Screws. Here we go.
Go.
This could be our first episode title. Westbrook strikes. Russell Westbrook shattering usage rate record in playoffs. He's done it in the regular season. Is it really surprising in the playoffs too?
No.
Of course not. This guy's wasn't born on Earth. He was born completely different dimension because he is playing out of his mind right now. Rudy Gobert, we all love this guy, right?
Yeah, the
ruled out for Game 3.
Paris.
Jazz may use a hack strategy to help defend the Clippers, who scored 60 points in the paint in Game 2. And just for the record, that 2013 draft, which, in my opinion, is one of the worst drafts ever in league history.
It's in everyone's opinion.
Rudy Gobert, Giannis Antetokounmpo, C.J. McCollum, 3 of the best players from that draft, hands down.
Don't forget Oladipo.
And Oladipo, yes. Oladipo, yes. And Rudy Gobert has turned into a real stud. I mean, no doubt about it. Yay, finally some Knicks news.
Yay.
Yes.
Kristaps
Porzingis wants to remain with the Knicks and doesn't explain skip meeting. He will leave for Latvia. He left for Latvia actually yesterday and doesn't plan to return until training camp opens in September.
Yay.
Without meeting with Phil Jackson, but said it is not a signal he doesn't want to remain with the Knicks. You drafted this guy 2 years ago. If anything, Phil, this and keeping multiple draft picks was the two best things during your tenure as president. And may I also add, the Knicks record with you as president these past 3 years?
It's terrible.
80-something and 166.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. And James Dolan picked up his contract.
Oh, boy.
For 2 more years. His mutual club option.
Great.
Just terrible.
I can't wait to see what he does with that. Well, we got
Kristaps.
So
we got Porzingis. We got Hernan Gomez. Hopefully get a point guard in this draft. And whatever you do, Knicks, as much as I love him as a player, do not take Lauri Markkanen from Arizona because you're drafting another Porzingis. And that's not what we need. We need to get a point guard. Take De'Aaron Fox if he's there.
Sure we're gonna have
him if he's there.
Pretty sure we're going to have a top 10 pick again, so I don't think taking Markkanen is going to be an issue.
Maybe not, but it's not the guy that we need, though. It's just not. Love him as a player, though. Absolutely.
You know who Oklahoma City does need? Not this guy.
They don't need him.
He's hurt.
We know that. Kevin Durant, of course, ruled out in Game 2 with a strained left calf.
Game 2 was last night.
That's right. And Golden State still won.
They still won.
Yeah. They don't need to. They didn't need.
And need Kevin Durant to win like 60 games.
You know why? Because they got Matt Barnes.
The Clippers had Matt Barnes. They were studs.
And Barnes actually played for Golden State back in the day. So, yeah. But Golden State has plenty of options.
Let's talk about Chris Bosh.
They got JaVale McGee, too. He'd expect Chris Bosh. Remember that name? It's been a long time. Situation to run its course and take care of itself. The Heat will eventually need independent medical confirmation that Chris Bosh is not able to satisfy safely continue his career.
When going to team doctors realized that the mark on Chris Bosh's left thigh was actually from the meteor that hit the dinosaurs. Because Chris Bosh looks like a dinosaur.
Because he is a praying mantis.
Chris Bosh looks like a dinosaur.
We love you, CB, and honestly, it's a shame what happened to you. But with these blood clots, it's a shame. Hopefully, you could resume your basketball career at some point.
Hopefully.
Chris Paul would love to have Staples Center statue. What? He says he feels that they have unfinished business.
The Clippers have had unfinished business since they drafted Bill Walton. That was in 1970
Do you guys remember?
something.
Do you guys remember how awful the Los Angeles Clippers team was way back before Blake Griffin and CP3 and
the Clippers
DeAndre
are cursed.
Jordan?
Remember?
Yeah.
The Clippers are cursed.
Remember the days of Chris Kaman and
Marco
and
Jaric.
Corey Maggette? Remember those days?
Good old days of Marco Jaric and Marcus Camby. Chris Kaman.
Marcus Camby. I remember those days. And what's his name?
Bobby Simmons was there.
Bobby Simmons. Oh my God. Now we're going way back, people.
That's
way back.
2005.
2005. Yeah. Well, still, it's way back. Marcus Smart fined $25,000 for flipping off a fan. What is it with these players making these dumb decisions?
Marcus Smart's been doing this since he was in college. Don't knock him. He pushed
Honestly,
the fan at Okie State.
Yeah. He has.
He pushed that one fan at Okie State.
He has some issues.
Yeah.
That's something. Hopefully, Brad Stevens can help him with that.
It's like he's the DeMarcus Cousins of the NBA.
He's a much smaller Cousins. I don't think he's as volatile.
He looks like Cousins.
He does, right? Yeah.
Put a headband on him.
Have you people noticed that?
Put a headband on him.
The Celtics have their DeMarcus Cousins in the form of a point guard.
Can we get a side-by-side image of DeMarcus Cousins
Love that.
and Marcus Smart?
Love that. That would be so cool. And we know that Boston has its cousins. Daryl Morey subtweets Russell Westbrook on rebounds. He appeared to subtweet him when replying to a tweet by Matt Bullard about how Hakeem Olajuwon made it clear that he wanted every available rebound.
Russell Westbrook makes it known that he wants every rebound.
You are not Hakeem Olajuwon, and don't ever think that you are, and you never will be.
Russell Westbrook clearly states that he wants every rebound by pushing Steven Adams out of the way before he can grab every rebound.
Not just him, will push everyone out of the way. Demonis Sabonis,
Oladipo,
Nick Collison.
But most specifically, Steven Adams. He's the tallest player on that team.
Steven Adams is wonderful. He's a wonderful player.
I met his sister.
And he met his sister.
I met Valerie Adams.
He also, with his 17 other siblings. Huge family. Love Steven Adams. Great player. Love him.
Let's talk about Pat Riley.
Pat Riley. More Heat news. Wants to retain the roster. Downplays adding well in free agency. While he's long sought cap space for 2017, he appears willing to shift towards retaining their own players. 3 players they must bring back. Dion Waiters, James Johnson, and... Never mind, it's just 2 players. But Justice Winslow hopefully can come back healthy next season, and he said he's not going anywhere. They should get rid of Chris Bosh because they're rebuilding.
I don't know.
And also,
he's old.
And also Tyler Johnson turned into a good player. Goran Dragic, obviously. Should I mention Whiteside? Whiteside's great.
Chris Bosh is old.
Whiteside is underrated. He's very underrated.
Is old. Chris Bosh is old.
Go to, I wonder where he should go to. Where should Bosh go to?
Back to Toronto where he belongs.
Yep. They'll take him back.
And our last bit of news, because freaking cameramen have me on a freaking time limit. Thanks a lot, YouTube. You bastards.
They are bastards. Steph Curry deletes all social media apps from phone for playoffs.
Stephen Curry is avoiding every fangirl.
This is the third consecutive year he's taken this approach. And also, I read that LeBron actually takes this approach too. And believe it or not, it is a smart. It's smart actually, because when you're in the playoffs and you're trying to chase an NBA championship, you don't need any distractions whatsoever.
See, LeBron does it to focus. Stephen Curry releases all of his apps, so fangirls won't follow him.
I wonder if Aisha's watching.
Probably is.
Right?
Hi, Riley.
And of course, Riley. Hi, Riley.
Hi, Riley. So, yeah. That's one episode down. And how many games have been played in the playoffs already? 4? Let's say 3 to 5 more games in the playoffs to go for this round because, you know, the playoffs are long and tedious.
They are long though, but you know what?
Like New York's history of losing.
And let's be... I'm a Knicks fan, and I even find that funny. But also, people, let's just agree with this. Also, the first round of the playoffs is very boring. Okay, there's no ifs, ands,
like
or
the
buts
first round of the tournament.
Even the second round isn't that enticing. Once you get to the conference finals, that's when it starts to heat up.
That's when things get slightly more serious.
And pretty much we will assume Cleveland and Golden State will meet again.
No.
So who's your picks then?
Milwaukee.
We love you, Greek Freak. Let's see if you can get past DeRozan, Lowry.
They're already getting past
Serge Ibaka, Dwayne Casey.
Who cares?
Dwayne Casey too.
Who cares? Milwaukee's destroying them.
Hey, Malcolm Brogdon, possible Rookie of the Year, 2nd round pick. Guy that I said this. I said he was going to be good in his rookie season. He played wonderfully for Virginia, where my girlfriend lives. So,
Virginia.
and also
Virginia basketball.
Virginia? Can I just say this? Rookie of the Year this year. You have 2 players from the 76ers, Joel Embiid and Dario Saric, who were 2014 first-round picks, a 2014 first-round picks, and a 2nd-round pick in last year's draft.
Wow.
What? Really?
Trust the process.
Really, trust the process. Joel Embiid, it's a shame that you got hurt again because you would have been the clear favorite for Rookie of the Year. And Dario Saric had a very, very impressive rookie season. So
they're not in the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs.
Don't worry, Brett Brown. You have the worst.
Worry a lot.
You have the worst losing percentage ever in NBA history.
Worry a lot.
It's okay. You keep getting contract extensions, so you are the right man for the job. And you know who else knows it? Sam Hinkie knows it.
You know who this season to bring back to coaching? Larry Brown.
Right. Actually, I read a rumor that he was looked at for Florida International head coaching job. I think. That's what I read. I don't know.
All right, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, come on, all right, go.
Like if you want me to wear more signs like this. I have a whole bunch left in the room. I'm out of here.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and All right, guys. So we will come back to you very soon with episode 2 of NBA News and Screws. Hope you enjoyed this pilot episode. But until next time, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dem. Go Zags!
Zach Collins.
Go Zags!